Judge President, you are still under oath.
Thank you for the reminder, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, I'm going to be using, for now, 2 documents. Same as we had, it's Volume 3 and the consolidated bundle. Coincidentally, the page we're going to start at Volume 3 is 1200, and the page on the consolidated document is page 12.
Page?
12. 12 of the consolidated, 1200 of Volume 3. You just could keep both of them open because we're going to start there. And Chair, as I did yesterday.
You said the other one is 12?
Yes, the big one is 12. The other one is 1200. That's where we're going to go. But as we did yesterday, we're going to go the unorthodox way, and we'll look at that theme. JP, we ended yesterday where you were at page 1199. And I want us to deal with that theme first, and then we will move to the next, with 1199, and then we'll go to 1200.
Thank you, honorable panel members. Indeed, side by side, I've got 2 documents here. The one is what we have termed the consolidated document. We will start from page 12. I'll be referring to that. I will also be using Volume 3. So, we are now dealing with the events of 17 June. Page 1200 of Volume 3 is part of what is said to have occurred on 17 June. But for a basis or creating a context for what I will be saying, I would like to start off by referring the panel members to paragraph 5 at page 27 of the consolidated bundle. There are a few things that I want to highlight quickly before I delve into the substance of my evidence at this point in time. So,
sorry,
page 14.
Where did you refer us to?
I would like us to go to the consolidated bundle. Small page 14 on top. Paragraph 5. Paragraph 5 at page 14 of the consolidated bundle. What I'm going to read is not without significance. It is going to become relevant as and when I address or present evidence in relation to certain pictures that I'm alleged to have sent to the complainant. Paragraph 5, just the one line. I'm reading it within the hearing of everybody. On the WhatsApp screenshots, you will see the profile picture of the JP that he had then. When a text has blue ticks, it means that it is from me. So that statement is very important. The complainant herself is saying, on WhatsApp screens, you will see his profile picture, and then she goes further to say, when a text has blue ticks, it means that it is from me. So that is something that we will be interrogating as we go on. There are a few other things that I want to highlight quickly before I delve into the substance of my evidence. Same on the same document. Page 17. page 17, paragraph 12 of the
17.
17, small 17 on top, paragraph 12. Now, the second sentence there says, I didn't respond, and JP kept asking me to speak. Just to highlight that, I'm going to be dealing with those things. And then over page 18, paragraph 15, towards the bottom, where reference is made to K3 and K4. So we're at page 18 of the consolidated bundle. We are at paragraph 15. It's got quite a number of unnumbered lines, but it's the second last one from the bottom. Sorry, it's the second from the bottom. So she says, okay, we meet and just converse without going to the intimate route, to which he deleted an extra K3. He asked me if only I wanted to be friends with him. I did not respond. I would like us to emphasize the words, I did not respond. I will be dealing with that at some point. So much for those gymnastics referring to broad strokes, so to speak. Back to what is said to have happened on the 17th of June. I would like us, Chairperson and honorable members, to go to paragraph 13 of the same document that we were paging. I'm here dealing with what is at page 1200, but I prefer starting with what is in the complaint. So, what is in the complaint, paragraph 13, page 17, is what I now tend to deal with. So I'm at paragraph 13, page 17. For us to understand what we are about on the 17th, I believe we need to look at the complaint, we need to look at the conversations as embodied in volume 3. Let me read what she says. On 17 June 2021, JP asked me whether we were warming up. I must mention that when he was talking about work, I would respond, and he changes topic slightly as soon as he realizes he has my attention. He sent me pictures which he kept deleting, and there is one that he sent, took a screenshot before he deleted. So the complainant is telling everybody here, telling this tribunal, by way of the complaint that we are about, that she took a screenshot of what I had deleted. I kept quiet. He then sent me a text saying BJ, question mark, and I did not respond. He then sent me an image of a man muffing a woman. I was quiet and decided not to respond. There again, she says she did not respond. As he was sending me these messages and pictures, then she refers to annexures H and H1. Honorable panel members, we are dealing with what is said to have happened on the 17th of June. We now know what she has said in the complaint, more particularly the fact that there is a picture, and from what I'm reading here, the suggestion is that it was a private part, and then he took a screenshot. So we will be on the lookout for a screenshot.
JP, can I request you for the record that when you read a quotation where you're quoting, please, for the record, because don't interpose your commentary until you finish the entire quote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, going back to paragraph 13, I quote, he sent me pictures which he kept deleting, and there is one that he sent, took a screenshot before he deleted, I kept quiet, close quote. So I'm saying in relation to that, we now know that I'm alleged to have sent a picture to her, which she took a screenshot of. Now, No time frames are mentioned at paragraph 13, which I've just read. Let me now take the honorable panel members and all role players in this tribunal to page 1200 of volume 3. So, volume 3, 1200, at the top, it is the word understood. In other words, prior to that, the complainant had said, I'm going to wake up very early when you will still be asleep, and that is where we ended yesterday. And I said, no, I will also be waking up. I've got a judgment to write. It is against that background then that I said, yidro, which means we are on par, our situations are the same. I say yidro at page 1199 at 2130. So her response at 2130 is that she understood what I was saying. That response from the complainant at 2135, then 2137, and then below 2137 from me, it's okay. And then at 2139, there's something that is deleted. But at 2155, she says, Bendi busy, uqolo, I was busy, I'm sorry. So that takes us to the following page, which is 1201. Bendi busy, uqolo, I was busy, I'm sorry. That is at 2155. Honorable panel members, allow me to deal with the allegations. The allegation and the evidence that was tendered within the context of what is said to have happened on page 1200. And let me be upfront and say there's nothing that I transmitted such as alleged by the complainant. Those were mere chats within the context of those sensual things that we were discussing. I'm going to deal with that at the opportune stage, but I did not send any picture. But let's look at what the complainant is saying. I've already demonstrated that in her complaint, she says, I sent something. She took a screenshot of that. Let's go to her testimony. Let's go to her testimony. I would have loved to avoid bringing time and again the testimony as contained in the transcript, but let me talk about it. So, I have established and demonstrated that at paragraph 13, page 17 of the consolidated document where the complaint is set out, she is said to have taken a screenshot. We must now ask ourselves a question. Screenshot of what? Is it K8 maybe? Yes, maybe, maybe not, but I want to deal with that. Now, she was led during her evidence in chief on the strength of volume 3 about what she says she saw. This is where she talks about at 21 hours 32. She says, honorable members of the panel, back to page 1200, she says, what is deleted at 1200 at 2132? She says, it was his private parts. This is her testifying before this tribunal. It was his private part with hair exactly the same color of his hair on his head. It was clear that he was standing above the toilet cubicle. So we must be on the lookout.
JP, can I request you that you take us to where that testimony is?
The testimony, could I have the I would have loved to. Could I have the transcript? I think preferably my documents. The transcript. This is page 21 on 15 January 2024 of the transcript. So it seems we will need to have 3 bundles.
We may proceed.
Yes. I can't proceed until I get it. I need the transcript. Yes, I think that's it. So the testimony is the testimony of 15 January at page 21. Testimony, I'm looking at the transcript now. Testimony of 15 January at page 21. Can I proceed to
Yes, please.
read from the transcript? Advocate Skepas, yes, you may continue. Sorry, let me start at the top. The top one I'm not able to remember. The second one from the top, rather, correction, Chair. The second one I cannot remember. The time is 21:30. The time about which she was testifying is 21:30. So that takes us back to page 1200. So I've got these 3 documents in front of me. The consolidated
Would that be
bundle.
the first deletion?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So the first deletion is at 21:30. She's asked about that. She says she can't remember. Asked about the third one, she can't remember. But then when it comes to the one at 21:32, the third one timed 21:32. From the top, it was his private part with hair exactly the same color of his hair on his head. Was it a video? Was it a photo? Can you explain to us what type of message was this? It was a picture, and in the picture, it was clear that he was standing above the toilet cubicle. And then, line 20, there was no caption. So, we know that she is addressing herself to what is said to have occurred on the 17th of June at 21:32. She is saying what I deleted, the message that I deleted was in fact what I've now read. This thing about a private part and pubic hair and all that. So we know from the complaint that she took a screen grab of that was exchanged on that night. We are not told, there's nothing annexed to the complaint that points to this screen grab. Then at page 23, we were reading from page 21 of the transcript. So at page 23, line 6 and 7. It was, oh sorry, I'm reading what Advocate Skepas asked her. Now you say you cannot remember what those messages was about that was deleted. In your complaint, you say you did use stickers and it is the disputed stickers. Then she says it was marked H1 and H2. Can you remember that? If you go to volume 1, page 36, then she says it is 36, Advocate. And then further down, line 18, Advocate Skepas, it is quite explicit pictures that was sent to you. Is that correct? Ms. Mengo responds, that is correct. Advocate Skepas, it is of a pornographic nature. So we now know we are being addressed in relation to H1 and H2. What does she say in the complaint at page 17, the consolidated document, about H1 and H2? the last sentence there, paragraph 13 at page 17 of the consolidated bundle. He then sent me an image of a man muffing a woman. I was quiet and decided not to respond as he was sending me these messages and pictures. Then she says, see annexure H, comma, H1. She's then talking about a man muffing a woman. When we read the transcript, we are told it's a pornographic picture. When we go to H1 and H2, we find it as part of a conversation much later in the year, during 2022. Maybe it would be to unduly overburden these proceedings if I were to go to that part of it now. This H1 and H2, I wish H1 and H2. That was the footnote that Dr. Mello spoke about, where there are two individuals. It's pornographic material. I hope the panel members do recall that. I'm a bit hamstrung. I would have loved to go to H1 and H2. Maybe let me do that.
May I tell members of the panel that it's in volume 1, you don't have to take it. It's page 30,
Page?
36
Page?
of volume 1.
Page?
36.
36. Thank you, Council. Page 36. Of volume 1.
Yes.
Could I have my other bundle there, maybe? Then, which has got to do with volume 1.
Sorry, in this
She has one. In this other document, it's page 39. Chair, the clearer picture in the consolidated document of this is page 39. So you may not have to take volume 1. You go to page 39 of
Small 39.
Yes, small 39. It's
I
clearer.
see H1 and H2 right at the bottom. It is not a picture of a man muffing a woman. H1 and H2 are not that. H1 and H2 at the bottom, it's pornographic stuff. There at the bottom of that document, H1 and H2. So this then negates the suggestion made in the complaint that it was a picture of a man muffing a woman. I just wanted to deal with that quickly. I may return to it at some point. Let me not disturb the rhyme and rhythm of what I was busy presenting. So in her evidence at page 23, it is quite explicit pictures that were sent to you. That is correct. It is of a pornographic nature. That is correct. So the complaint itself told us that it was a picture of a man muffing a woman. So I'm here dealing with two things. One, this picture of a private part that was allegedly sent, which she took a screenshot of. I don't know whether it's K8 or something else, but let me proceed to give my evidence in relation to that. So, thus far, what we can see is that according to the complaint, she took a picture of a private part. According to her testimony, she describes how this private part looked like. According to the complaint, H1 and H2 are pictures of a man muffing a woman. And then, this is very interesting. We know that, Chairperson, much later, when she testified, she made mention of a screenshot that she had taken, which she, according to her evidence, shared with Ms. Brenda Nguta. So we need to go to the transcript in relation to that. What I see here is, I'm trying
JP,
to
could you
get
tell
to-
us the page?
I'm trying to get to where she makes mention of Brenda, who was later called to testify. Trying to get through to that. Where she says, I had taken a screenshot which I shared with Ms. Nguta. And then that is how we get to K8. And then my evidence is the allegation is made of a private part with white pubic hair and all that. Yet we see from a reading of that annexure that there's nothing like that. There's nothing like pubic hair, white pubic hair and all that. Chairperson, so going back to 1200, 1200 of volume 3. My version is that those were mere sensual charts. I did not send her any picture. There is at 2132 a question BJ equal to. Clearly, I was trying to engage her in relation to what she would previously had said above. She also says not to worry about that. Clearly, that's a conversation. It's not a picture. Not to worry about that. Elsewhere, she has said, I did not respond. Something is deleted. Her response is length. The answer is okay. Then finally on the 17th, bendi busy, uxolo. I was busy, I'm sorry. So at page 1200, it's merely conversations. And I think it's quite abundantly clear in my view that there's nothing about pictures there. 2130 on top there, it says understood. And then at 2130, quickly thereafter, there's something that I sent. It's an angelic picture. And then 2130, something else is deleted. I maintain it was a conversation. And then at 2132, I still believe it was a conversation. I ask a question, BJ equal to question mark. In other words, I'm engaging her in relation to BJ. And then 2133, 2133, and 2134. Clearly, this was a discussion. She says not to worry about that. At 2134, I maintain it is a discussion. She says length, and then I say okay, and then finally, what happens on that day, which is 17 June, is bendi busy uxolo. Clearly, that must have been something like, I see you may not have responded, or what was happening, or whatever else. She says, bendi busy, uxolo. Those are facts relative to 17 June. It was a mere chat, no pictures were exchanged, and I have tried my best to demonstrate that there is this allegation she makes in the complaint. She took a screen grab. She explains when testifying what she saw. We will sit here until cows come out. We are not going to see this alleged picture of private parts with one standing on top of a cubicle and with white pubic hair such as his has. I'm at pains to have to talk about these things, Chairperson. The situation is such that I've got to be explicit because I have to defend myself. So the point that I have made thus far, honorable members, is that I did not send a private part. And then I've pointed to incongruities in her presentation, both in the complaint itself and what was testified to by her, which is what she explains she saw. I would clearly need a bit of assistance. Maybe let me do this.
Chair, can I assist the witness with the...
I want to go to this picture, which is K8.
Sorry, JP. I'm saying on the what he was looking for, it's the transcript of 20 January at page 43 and 44. I'm not asking it to go there, but I think that's the...
Counsel, can you help me with that?
Yeah.
Can you help me?
The screenshot. It's the issue you wanted to talk about, and you were not finding the...
Where we are told
transcript.
what she shared with Brenda.
Yes.
Page number?
It's page 43 of the transcript of 20 January 2025.
Thank you. 20 January
20.
2025. I found 20 January 2025. Yes. Page 42.
43.
All right. Let me start at page 42 because I had made a marking here. Line 20 of the transcript at page 42. Advocate Skiepas, let us start with page 47. That was marked as K8 during your initial complaint. Yes, I can see it. Yes. What is depicted there on page 8? I see it is photograph on page 46. That was K8. And then over to page 43. Mr. Jonasa, 46 or 47. Advocate Skippers, 47, sorry. Then further down, I think this is line 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Miss Mengo, addressing herself to K8. It is one of the pictures that got deleted, but I took a screenshot and forwarded it to my colleague in order for the colleague to keep it for me. Now the point is made. So, what we have in paragraph 13 of the consolidated bundle at page 17, I quote, he sent me pictures which he kept deleting, and there is one that he sent, took a screenshot before he deleted. I kept quiet, stop, close quote. This is what she said. Now, when she testifies, she tells this tribunal that, remember that picture that I took a screenshot of? It is K8. So we know from her testimony on that fateful day where she says, I saw pubic hair, somebody standing on top of a toilet cubicle. We can't help but be curious to see and find that picture. We can't find it because it is said to be K8. That is the point I was trying to make, Chairperson and honorable members. She took a screenshot. She testifies about what the cubicle and all those things and white pubic hair and all that. I can't help but say, let's go to this K8, this creature, that is K8. One of the most devastating things that have been said about me at this tribunal, I'm looking for K8, I seek the assistance of my team. I just want to zoom into K8.
Can I assist if in your consolidated document,
Yes,
small page 50?
small page 50.
Yes.
Thank you, SC. Oh yes, here it is. It's small page 50. It is that document with no origin, with 0905 at the bottom. It is that document that must be juxtaposed with what she says occurred around 2132. This is the point I was trying to make yesterday, which is simply that we have this document 0905 at the bottom, page 50. We don't see a toilet cubicle. We don't see whatever with white hairs, such as he has. She was asked whether she has ever seen it, and the answer was no. This is the shame that I've had to go through in these proceedings. Now, at this point in time, I am making moment of this K8. I believe that there is sufficient that I've said, at least for now, Counsel, in relation to this K8.
Thank you.
And
JP, we're gonna move to
yes, I'm going to move to something else.
the next theme, Chair. The next theme is starts from the date of the. It's at 12:02. The date is 20th June. It's 12:02 of Volume 3.
Date, sorry.
Yes. What it is, it's that theme of. Sorry.
The date.
Well,
20 June.
Yes.
Just hold on, JP. 20 June. It's page 1202 at the bottom. It starts there. We're going to move. That is just one, and it moves to that theme, an allegation that's by the complainant. That then what's going to follow is let's call it an attack of courage, was to confront this. So I'll allow him to go to that theme as well. Thank you. JP, you may proceed.
thank you, Counsel.
JP, you must allow yourself to be led
Yes.
sometimes, because you know, when I was at the bar, one of the rules was that an advocate is not allowed to represent a member of the family, because you become subjective.
Yes.
So be careful not to become too subjective as not to allow yourself to be led by
Yes.
somebody who might be a bit objective.
I follow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As I said
before-
yesterday, this is no ordinary witness, but I've allowed the JP, as I said, autopilot, so that I don't interject, but just the theme that she's about to start with. But I still think it's more effective if I put him on auto cruise, and I'll stop him when I think he's going to the banks of the river.
Yes.
It is against that background, Chairperson, that I'm simply going on and on and on. It is not for any other reason. A case in point, for instance, is that we have to deal with 18 June.
In fact, it's 18 June. Yes.
Yeah, 1201 is 18 June. So I want us to go to 18 June. Let's start with the complaint. Paragraph 14, pages 17 to 18. This is what she says in her complaint. 18 June 2021, paragraph 14, pages 17 to 18.
Sorry, where you are? Where are you?
I'm at pages 17 to 18. Let's start with page 17 of the consolidated bundle. As the chairperson laid his finger on,
Yes, we have it.
thank you. Paragraph 14 at the bottom. On 18 June 2021, he asked me to finish what we were talking about, and he asked if he was wrong, and I said no. Close quote. Let me read again. On 18 June 2021, he asked me to finish what we were talking about, and asked if he was wrong, question mark, and I said no, close quote. I stop there. So this is a story in the complaint. Let's go to page 1201. Council, I'm at 1201 now. Thank you for taking me to that point. So there's an ear in the early hours of the morning. I'm getting ready for work. I said good, and then I said Gqibezela, and laughed. And then especially Riento, she laughed at that. I asked Ndirongo. The answer was two, not at all. And
JP, I'll ask you again. Please just allow us to know what time you're talking about.
Thank you. 18 June, 0052, there's an ear. Response at 0351, morning, getting ready for work. 0405, me, good. 0405, Gqibezela. 0405, lol, LOL, laugh out loud. 0405, especially Riento.
Can I stop you there? Can you go to Gqibezela and just tell us what you
Gqibezela,
meant?
finish up what we were talking about.
Miss Interpreter.
Finish up or conclude.
Thank you.
0406, laughing emojis. 0406, Ndirongo, am I wrong? 0407, two, not at all. 0601, deleted. 0603, deleted. And then 06025, ubhale ucima, kodwa uyayazi ndibhizi. You are writing and deleting, yet you know that I am busy.
Interpreter.
You are writing and deleting, yet you are aware that I'm busy.
Thank you.
What I'm doing at this point is to demonstrate the incongruity between the complaint. She says in the complaint, at paragraph 14, on 18 June 2021, he asked me to finish what we were talking about, and asked if he was wrong, and I said no. Ndirongo is at 0406, me asking. It's got, then she says, Ndirongo. Then she says, not at all. Yes, she says, I said no. The context is very important. Am I wrong, having regard to what is said at page 1201, real position, which she laughed to? Am I wrong? You are not wrong at all. So context is very important. That is what I wanted to demonstrate, Council, which is at page 1201. I thought that it is prudent for me to demonstrate that what is said, in fact, in the complaint is a far cry from the testimony, and in fact the context is set out at page 1201 on 18 June 2021.
And at this point, JP, let me ask, had you sensed any discomfort from the complainant? Had you sensed any discomfort with the conversation?
Not at all. Not at all. Even the Haike, which is at 025, which relates to the fact that I wrote and deleted, knowing that she's busy. This is how I look at it. I am busy. I would have loved to see what you were writing and deleting and all that. Then she says, Haike. Now somebody's going to come, I believe, and say, Haike means a rebuff. Certainly not in the context of what is happening here.
Can I get the interpreter? Because there is a misinterpretation of whether haike or hai means no, of the 12 no's. Can the interpreter, Chair, tell us?
Once more, Chair, the haike in this particular context has no interpretation or translation of a no. Particularly, once again, it has become an expression of understanding what the other side was saying. It's more of, it's okay, I understand what you are saying, so there's no no in the haike term. It's another expression of in agreeing with whatever you've heard from the other side.
Thank you, Chair. You may continue, JP.
Thank you, Council. Chairperson, this takes us to 1202.
Can I interject, JP, please? I'm at pains to understand the context of this conversation, 1201.
At 1201.
Yes, please bear with me. I'm a bit lost. Was it a sexual conversation or what was it all about?
Deeply sensual.
So when she says, when Mengo says, rie into ento,
When I say, especially, I want to hear you, especially in relation to the rear position. This is me talking at 0405.
so
Honorable
rie
member.
position means what in this context?
In this context, it's about a position, a sleeping position.
Sexual
Yes,
sleeping? Okay.
yes. It is.
Okay. Thank you.
So this conversation is deeply sensual. She's asked about that position at 0405, 0406. She laughs. And then I asked, am I wrong in so saying? She says two, which means not at all. And that is the context. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you.
So we are at 1202. We now know that there is haike, which is not a rebuff. Then at 0625, in response to what she said, ubhale ucima kodwa uyayazi ndi busy, you keep writing and deleting, yet you know I am busy. And I say to her, the reason why I deleted is precisely because so that I don't distract you. This is me talking at 0625, page 1202. At 0626, we've got that emoji from her of a person with hands or arms around her head, which is responded to by me at 0628. And then 0628 is in the morning. And then the next chart is at 1809 when I comment on her status. I said, ah.
What does that mean, JP?
I was complimenting what I was seeing.
Thank you.
That concludes the business of 18 June Council. And now we are on 20 June, about which you spoke earlier on, which, with your permission, I will tend to deal with.
Chair, it's the same, and members of the panel, it's the same page of volume through 1202.
I wake up to a compliment. Happy Father's Day, Jola.
Can I ask you there, JP, was this the first or second or every time you get this? Was this
It was the first time.
from the complainant?
Yes. Two things are very significant in answer to the question posed. The one is receiving something from the complainant saying Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, rather. So bear in mind that I became a judge in 2015. I became JP in 2017. I see that the complainant must have started around 2019 to be a secretary to Judge Robertson. And then there are these charts, these flirtatious charts between the two of us, which are the subject of these proceedings. The issue being whether they were wanted or unwanted. 20 June, early in the morning at 0603, Happy Father's Day, and most significantly, Jola. If my memory serves me well, I have not been referred to as Jola by her until this point in time. I want to say something about Jola. Jola is my clan name. If you say Jola, it's an endearment. It brought about a measure of warmth on my part. 20 June 2021, 0603, Happy Father's Day, Jola.
Maybe you should slow down a bit, JP. Slow down a bit, because
Thank you.
trying to keep pace with you.
Thank you. Sorry for moving fast. So we're at page 1202. The time is 0603. I wake up to a conversation initiated by the complainant. For the first time, I receive Happy Father's Day from her. She refers to me as Jola. The time is 0603 in the morning. Being called by clan name within the culture, and I'm not at all blowing culture out of proportion here, as some may think. The point of substance is that when somebody calls you by your clan name, it's an endearment. That's just the point I'm making.
And JP, while you were referring to other documents, was this disclosed in the complaint?
Happy Father's Day.
This endearment comment, as you call it?
No, not at all, actually. As far as I can see. On 20 June, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister, with my sister's kids at Spare, and he sent me, oh, sorry. I'm reading from page 18 of the consolidated bundle.
Yes. Chair, it's paragraph 15.
Paragraph 15. Let me quote what she says at paragraph 15. On 20 June, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister's kids at Spare, and he sent an emoji of tongue sticking out. He told me that we had not finished our conversation the last time, and I meant to say I could no longer communicate, and he asked me why. He sent me a video of a man lying on her back with a man on top. On the same day, I sent a text that I'm around East London. Let me stop there. Close quote. So, what happened on 20 June, according to the complaint, has just been read. What is at page 1202, which is not part of the complaint, is Happy Father's Day, Jola. So we now know that there's, with due respect, selective amnesia on the part of the person who wrote this complaint and swore to it.
And what did this reference to you mean to you or make you feel?
Which one?
Happy Father's Day, Jola.
Happy Father's Day by a person who had intermittently referred to me as Judge, or no prefix was used, especially when we were talking about deep sensual stuff. Then for the first time I see Happy Father's Day, Jola. Council, I say it's an endearment. It's something that makes you feel warm when you are called by it.
Thank you. You may proceed, JP.
So there's an interposition there at page 1202, but let me wait until we are all at page 1202. Happy Father's Day, Jola. She's the first to address this flirtatious couple. And then at 0605, I say thank you, Sisi. I thanked her for saying Happy Father's Day, Jola. I'm at page 1202. I see there's an interposition of 19 June. But that's how things are. So at 1203, thanks, Sisi, at 0605 by me. It seems that this conversation continues when it says, from my side, I saw the order granted on that day, Kubi Echinimos 0607. It must have related to court proceedings. Then, still at 1203, Bati bazopinda if things aren't fixed. In other words, they will engage in strike action or demonstration, as far as I can remember the context here, if their grievances are not attended to. I defer to wisdom when it comes to this. But bazopinda if things are not fixed.
Let me assist the tribunal. But bazopinda, they say they will again repeat the strike if their demands are not met.
That's 0610 at page 1203. Then there's a voice note forwarded many times. I believe it related to that conversation. And then I commented, it looks like there's a third force at 0621. And then at 0622, I say, changing the topic slightly. So 0622 is on 20 June 2021. Then I say changing the topic slightly. The next thing that happens at 22:23 on that day.
JP, at this point, a point was made by the expert that what happens here is that every time the discussion is not sensual, as you call it, you redirect it to there, and some kind of moment was made of this, that you redirect, you are persisting.
Yes. Maybe let me separate redirection from persistence.
Yes.
And say, I don't have a book which I can read in relation to what I can talk about and what I cannot talk about with somebody that I talk. In other words, I see myself as free to talk with whatever topic, with a friend or with somebody that I believe I relate with flirtatiously. So this notion about redirecting, it would be very artificial for me to say, now hang on, step number 1, we're going to talk about what's happening in Grahamstown, Makanda. And then I will then say, it looks like we've exhausted that topic. Point number 2, let's talk about our flirtatious relationship. That sounds too artificial, in my view.
Thank you, JP. You may proceed.
Then something was mentioned about persistence. in your question, Counsel.
Yes.
Let me remind this tribunal that the complainant, apart from all else, putting aside culture and everything else, had said to me, earn it. So earn it in and by itself, I submit, has got this notion of inviting me to persist, earn it. But from the conversations up to this point, putting it in Xhosa, akunyuki qhina.
The direct translation of that, we are not going up the hill.
I'm saying things are just running smoothly,
Thank you.
even in spite of earn it. On the issue of persistence within the context of the Eurocentric perspective, I am loath to delve into that. It suffices for me to simply say persistence is persistence. Demanding is something else. Coercion is something else.
Thank you, JP. You may proceed.
So the next conversation is at 22:23. It might indeed be that her status picture that I commented on is what she is addressing herself to at page 15. On 20 June, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister's kids at Spare, and he sent me an emoji of tongue sticking out. Absolutely correct. Save that, she starts 20 June, according to the complaint at that point. We now know that she had said Happy Father's Day and so on. Now, honorable members, the point I'm simply making here, Counsel, is that we're at 20 June. We see at 22:23, indeed, I'm commenting with a salivating or an emoji that indicates or demonstrates appetite. That is at 22:23, at page 1203. So her status had a picture of her sitting at Spare, and that is how I responded or reacted to that status. Then 22:23, those two emojis with Ichu. I can't figure out exactly what it meant, but I believe it is of no moment, at least for present purposes. I would use Ichu like shu, S-H-U-U-U, when I exclaim to something that is attractive to me.
Can I ask the interpreter to see whether that's consistent?
There's, Chair, an element when one say these words, shoo. There is an element of appreciating whatever it is to an extent where one is even able to send a particular picture to show how hot, how appreciative they are of that particular thing that they see or moment of what they feel. So the shu comes with SH and a couple of U's.
Thank you.
I frowned a bit when she said it comes with SH, because we are dealing with sexual harassment here. But as soon as she said S-H-U-U-U, shu, I became comfortable. Anyway, I'm just mentioning that in passing. So I then say we had not finished our conversation at 22:23. This spills over to 1204, honorable panel members. 1204, we had not finished our conversation the other day. Now that is at 22:24. Then immediately thereafter at 22:24, within seconds, there's these three emojis and a laughing, three emojis of a monkey closing its eyes and four rolling with laughter emojis. May I pause there? In my view, that is not a rebuff. It is, in my view, simply continuation of flirtatious interaction. It is not a rebuff. May I pause here to say we were told about 12 no's. For my part, I've not come across any no. Maybe we are getting closer to something like that. Then at 22:24, immediately thereafter, she says, andisakonqeni. Andisakonqeni, my interpretation of that is, can only be read with what is at 1205, undenza shy. But let me pause, because I don't want to arrogate to myself proficiency in the Xhosa language. Andisakonqeni, I can only say I did not regard that as a rebuff. I simply regarded it as something that says, oh, how I wish I could avoid you in a flirtatious context.
Can
But
we
I
get
defer to-
the interpreter to see how close you are to the objective interpretation?
Let's first start with undenza shy, you make me shy. And then andisakonqeni, that also has an element of one stating that I do not want to become too over familiar with you, but not in a negative connotation, or how I wish I could not avoid you, which is, I believe that's what the JP similarly said earlier. So it's in two ways, I would say.
So we are at page 1204,
Yes, JP.
2224, we've got those emojis. The three, in my view, signify ukumutsa, and the sakonqeni is fortified at 2224.
Could
And
you,
then
could
at
you
22
repeat again? There's a word you use there, signified uku?
Ukumutsa, UKUMUSMUTSU, TSA, ukumutsa.
We came across this word again just for the record.
Yesterday.
Would you tell us?
Ukumutsa, once more, it's the element of being flirtatiously shy.
Thank you. And then at 2224, there is that picture that I sent. I think it must have been a picture of me. I am going to demonstrate why I say that. It was a picture of me. I sent it at 2224. If my memory serves me well, this was the first time ever that I sent the complainant a picture of me. I may be wrong, but it seems to me that if my memory serves me well, it was the first time ever. 2224, and then 2224, these things crossed path, because within seconds, she comments to the picture that I sent to her.
JP, you are now at 1205.
Thank you, yes, Counsel.
Thank you.
At 2224, she says, cute, C-U-T-E. The picture that I sent, she comments to it. Cute, C-U-T-E. Maybe let me pause here and say, esiXhoseni ubuhle bendoda zinkomo.
Okay.
In the language of isiXhosa, putting this into context, I would not say beauty because that's for ladies, but the handsomeness of a man depends on how many cows he has.
Yes.
And what's the relevance of this idiom?
The relevance of this idiom, at least to start off with, when a lady is going to say to you, you look handsome, nature tells you that this lady fancies you. I'm just being very explicit about it.
Is that how you understood it?
This is how I understood it. This is how I still understand it.
Thank you.
But I did not comment to that because I just thought, hey, it's rare, especially within my context, for somebody to simply say, you are cute. I've never regarded myself as a handsome man necessarily. I do know that I comb my hair from time to time. I'm particular about that. But there it is, it says cute. I did not respond to that for the sake of modesty. And then 2225, when undenza shy, I think that has already been interpreted. And
As in, you make me shy.
yes.
Thank you, interpreter.
And I am saying, within the context of that, when undenza shy, with that monkey closing eyes, and it must be recalled that I am not talking about something ex post facto. In my affidavit before the JCC, I said something about my interpretation of this emoji, monkey closing eyes. Now I am saying, as far as I know, it signifies ukumutsa, which basically, as I said yesterday, it's a pretense of shyness or modesty intended to be alluring, typically used by a female person. All right, it's 22:25. The time is 22:25 at page 1205. I have not come.
JP, when you say it's typically used by a female person, do you want to say that generally is your question that female person in general or in your context? What do you mean?
I would say, generally speaking, and also especially within the context of these discussions.
Thank you.
So what follows at 22:25 is obviously a video that I sent, 22:25. As far as I can make out, seated where I am now, it is a couple that seems to be cuddling and that seems to be intimate with one another. That is what I sent. At 22:25, it's something like lasting for 30 seconds. I see a couple that is cuddling. And then I asked at 22:25, in what way? Then her response is, uyazibona ke?
Which means, interpreter.
With 3 laughing emojis.
Just hold on, JP.
Thank you.
The direct translation, do you now see yourself? Or do you see how you are? I think the second one is better. Do you see how you are?
JP, what did you understand this to mean with those emojis?
Playful flirtation on the part of the complainant as we were busy talking. And it's going to become clearer when we move further down. Uyazibona ke? It has been interpreted. Then
What would you say, JP, to an interpretation that this person is saying, do you see yourself how bad you are?
That would be reading too much into a flirtatious conversation, which is easy to interpret if one objectively goes through the conversations as unfolding in this document.
All right, JP, you may proceed.
So here is somebody who has referred to me as cute. I would say grudgingly, I became a bit modest. I did not comment to that. Then there's something that is deleted at 22:26. Then same time, she says, ndisemonti kungangcono sijongane.
Can I just, Chair, this is the theme I talked about as a separate theme, where I think a lot was said about this is the time, the conversation, I said earlier, when the complainant had an attack of courage to confront this, at least according to her testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Indeed, it is so, Counsel, that the East London event commences right here and it goes up to and including page 1219. So we are now at page 1206.
Just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. So the hour has come. 2226, uyazibona ke? 2226, deleted by me. I can't remember what it was. It may have been another picture that I sent, but the focus is on what she says at 2226. Ndise Monti, I am in East London. Kungangcono sijongane. It would be best if we meet face to face.
Can I get the objective interpretation?
The interpretation or direct translation to that, I am in East London. It would be better if we meet face to face or in person.
Thank you.
Then she says it can be tomorrow or the other day, which is pure English. Then my question at 2227 is, kukontoni, in other words, in East London. What is happening in East London? That is at 2227.
Let's hold it, JP, slowly.
Kukontoni, indeed, what is happening in East London or what is in East London.
Thank you.
Then at 2227, this is a comment she makes to a picture that I sent to her. Chairperson, it could either have been the first one that I had sent or the second one, or a second one. But what she says is, ukyut lonto.
Okay, can I, yeah.
That is at 2227.
Utyut lonto. The lonto part, that's where I'm coming to, Chair. It's more of someone saying, you are cute indeed, or you are cute by the way.
Thank you. JP, this is the
Mr.
second
Sakani,
time.
can I just ask one
Yes.
question?
Yes, yes.
It looks like these words were previously interpreted. Would I be correct to say so?
Yes.
It's on my
They
record.
They have. They
Okay.
have been interpreted
They have,
that
huh?
way, yes.
Okay.
And JP, this is, if I'm not wrong, the second time you are accused of being cute.
It's the second time, Council, that I'm being complimented as being handsome
Okay,
by the complainant.
please proceed.
So remember, first time around, somewhat grudgingly, I thought I should not comment. But the second time around, ukyut londo, you are handsome indeed. Then kukontoni is at 2227. 2227, Emonti, I'm asking, what is happening in East London? But at the same time, I think these charts crossed one another. Then I said thank you to ukyut londo. This time, I appreciated the compliment.
And JP, am I correct that you're still on the 20th of June, isn't it?
We are still dealing with 20 June. We are getting closer to the invite. I think we have dealt with the invite, which is ndisemonti kungangcono sijongane. It can be tomorrow or the other day. In the midst of us interacting the fashion we wear, I'm being complimented as being handsome. I don't want to blow this out of proportion, Chairperson. If I had a way,
You don't have to.
I don't have to be bigger than my head. But
All I'm asking
this is
you
what we have
is
here.
that was said, we know now that you took us to the paragraph, the complainant narrating what happened on the 20th of June.
Yes.
Does she mention this in the complaint?
Not at all.
Thank you. You may proceed.
All right. 1207 shows at 2227 my pursuit of a question, kukhondoni eMonti, what is happening? Monti is East London. What is happening in East London? And then it's a repetition of me being appreciative of her complimenting me. So, SC, ndise Monti, kungangcono sijongane, it can be tomorrow or the other day. Then, in response to my question, kukhondoni, what is happening in East London, she responds at 2227. Ndihlala apha kwamna, but this week I'm working with Bloom in his Bartley Head matter. I actually stay here in East London, but this week I'm working with Judge Bloom, who is hearing a Bartley Head matter in Bishop 2227.
That is correct. I actually live here or stay here in East London. And then the rest of the statement is indeed in English, Chair.
It is apposite for me to mention that at this point, I have not come across any rebuff of any kind.
Can I take you back to what you may have passed through on page 1206?
Yes.
The invitation to, well, the compliment, so you call it, at 2227. Am I correct that it's sandwiched by the invitations or invitation to East
meet
London?
physically.
To East London, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That is
Proceed.
indeed so. Thank you, SC. And then we go up to 2228 at 1207. I had known Sharon, a lady, to be Judge Bloom's secretary. So I asked, have you swept with Sharon, who is the usual secretary of Judge Bloom? I was just asking a question. In response, the answer was, yes, JP. Maybe we have to permanently. Yes. So the question is, have you swapped? The answer is, at least for now, yes. Maybe maybe JP, it says yes, JP. Maybe we have to permanently swap. Now I am JP in the context of swapping and all those things, something that I did not necessarily entertain. Why? Because of the impending retirement of Gagogo, that is Judge Robertson. Is this swap going to come about because of the
JP,
impending
just
retirement?
say, because the people who may interpret Gogo as a derogatory term, can we hear from the interpreter?
Gogo, the direct translation, we will say the word gogo normally to a grandmother in English, but in your Nguni language, you would say gogo or umakhulu, which is still a grandmother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, SC.
Thanks.
So the question is why? Because of the impending retirement, Kamakulu, or the old lady, so to speak. Then the response is, indenzela ixhala ke leyo. But I was just saying. So there are three emojis. They could mean anxiety, indeed, because she says, indenzela ixhala leyo, but I was just saying. So,
Interpreter?
Ixhala can be either worry or anxiety.
Thank you. What did you understand this to mean, JP?
I was being invited in my capacity as JP to comment on her quest for this swapping. And I exited. I did not entertain it. I simply said, oh, okay. Okay also appears at page 1208. (1208) at 2230, Chairperson. And then question 2231. You reckon kungancazelwana this week? Then there is that emoji signifying shyness about what I was talking about. You reckon kungancazelwana this week? You reckon we can be intimate this week? And then these three emojis at 2231.
Just hold on, just slow down.
Ukuncazelana would mean in the isiXhosa language English, intimate. You reckon we could be intimate this weekend?
Thank you, JP. You may proceed.
If it is convenient, we can adjourn here and come back at 15:15. Is it convenient?
It's convenient, JP.
Yes.
It's convenient.
Let us adjourn and then come back at 11:15. Thank you.
Explain, aye, and then at 1210, I remind her at 2237 that she said, "Disemondi kungangcono sijongane, it can be tomorrow or the other day." I'm asking Indumiso 1 verse 1, then I'm saying ndichoyona, I'm referring exactly to that verse. Then she explains what
Yes,
this high
Chair,
is about.
Some of the translations are common cause, are things that we've traversed. So we're just doing them on issues that we think we're emphasizing, but I think they have been interpreted during the evidence in chief. So sometimes we will leave them because they are uncontroversial and they're not open to further questions or misinterpretations.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
So, Council, my direct answer is this high about which some people tend to dance and scatter around is very, very contextual and it's pertinent. I am saying let's not be intimate. Let's just meet face to face during the course of this week. But then I say so because at 2238, she explains herself by saying, "Sijongane, not ncazelana." No, I would like us to meet face to face and not be intimate. Come 2238, what if we melt, which is not impossible? The answer is at page 1211. It's a meme. I can't remember now what it was all about, but it evoked laughter from my side, LOL. And then I said, it's not impossible. You are saying let's meet face to face, but within the context of that invitation for us to meet, then I say, what if we melt? And I say, it's not impossible. And then there's that man fending himself at 2241. She responds, and these messages seem to cross one another within seconds. It is impossible. The it is impossible is at 1212. And then something is deleted at 2241. But most importantly, at 2241 at page 1212, she poses a question. So ubila kwangoku kuse-early.
What does that mean? Let's hear, and we'll get to what did you understand by it.
The direct translation of that, are you already sweating so early? It's a question.
What did you understand by that, JP?
The starting point is my response at 2242. Uyabilisa, question mark. Then I'm going to answer the question pertinently.
Would you cause one to sweat?
Thank you, JP. You can answer my question.
Then that is the context. So the context is from the complainant, in an instance where there's this invite for us to meet face to face, which made me ask a pertinent question, which was responded to pertinently. So when we get there, she's the one at 2241 who says, "Zobila kwangoku kuse-early." Remember, I had said, what if we melt? And I said, it's not impossible. If we meet face to face, that is what can ensue. Then, uyabilisa.
Is this sweating we're talking about, JP, in the context of what you call to the tribunal sensual
Indeed,
talk?
that is so, sensual talk.
Thank you.
Hence, I'm asking, uyabilisa. Umenza umntu abile. Do you cause somebody to sweat? Then the answer is of significance. 2242, principle, ungandibuzi ithini. Don't ask me. There's a principle in this. Then, in response to that, at 1213,
Sorry, interpreter, you want to say that? Are we still fine, consistent?
We're still fine, very much consistent.
Thank you. All right.
principle ungandibuzi ithini. Then at 2242 at page 1213, I say, we both know everything. Now, in the context of this flirtatious talk, it is more about, well, we know that if we meet, we might melt, and one thing could then lead to the other. In the context of the invitation for us to meet face to face or meet physically. So then I then say at 2242, well, I'll be amenable. Then the response is laughter from her side, 2244. Then I say to her,
JP, when you say you would be amenable to?
Ungandibuzi ithini. In other words, uyabilisa, which is what I had asked at 2242, as a sequel to a statement, so bila kwangoku kuse-early. I was simply saying, I will be flexible, I will do whatever. If we've got to, in spite of what had been said, I'll be flexible, I'll be amenable. And then she laughs at that, and then it is in that context that I say, Bendiza kupale, I was going to give you this, and then she says I must rephrase that, obviously because there's a misspelling there of P.
Can you read that? Yeah.
Bendiza ku H-O-A-L-E, H-A-L-E, Bendiza kupale, which I was trying to say. When she says, please rephrase.
Can I get to the interpreter when you say benza kupale? Interpreter. Hello.
I'm saying the spelling itself is incorrect. Bendiza ku H-O-H-A, le.
As it stands now with that spelling mistake, it means what? Nothing.
Nothing.
Thank you.
We've got to give it some meaning, and I'm saying Bendiza kupale.
Okay.
She says,
let's hear the interpreter, JP.
Bendiza kupale, the director of that translation would be, I was going to give you this.
Thank you, JP. You may proceed.
She then at 2245 says, rephrase. And then 2245, I think the messages may have crossed one another, but what is important is there's a peeled banana there, to which she laughs, and I ask, when ubuza on pandon. In other words, I'm saying, I was going to give you something nice. I could have sent a chocolate. I could have sent anything that people, when they meet, would love to share.
Let's hold there, JP. Let's hold there, because there may be people who think that banana means something else. And what do you say to someone who says this banana means?
They know more than I do.
Just hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on. That it means more than you are saying. What did you actually mean?
Let me repeat myself, counsel. It was, I could have sent a chocolate that whose cover has been taken off. I could have shown her an apple, but what I meant was simply that Bendiza kupale, I was going to share something nice with you.
So if a suggestion is made that means sex, what would you say?
That's not what I was conveying.
What if someone said you were showing the peeled banana refers to a circumcised male private part? what would you say?
I would have had to study a degree in these things to understand that.
Okay, JP.
I heard that for the first time when Dr. Docrat was testifying, I think. Peeled banana means circumcised penis or this and that.
Yes.
I don't know those things.
Okay.
But as I say, I was simply saying, when we meet, I was just going to share something nice with you. I mean, in the context of two people eating from the same plate, as a matter of example, I could have sent a chocolate to say, I was going to give you this. I could have shown anything that is nice or enjoyable. But clearly, it has got nothing to do with any penis, at least from my side. She laughs at that at 22:45. And then I ask her, wena ubuzaniphandoni, what were you going to give to me?
What page are we now, JP? 1214.
We are still at 1213.
1213 at the bottom.
22:45. Ubuzaniphandoni, wena, what were you going to give to me in return? Then she says, honorable member, don't do that. Honorable member, don't do that. This is a meme. And then I also respond 22:46. I say, ew. In this context, the parties were being playful with one another or towards one another.
Explain that, JP.
Come again?
Explain that being
I
playful
say so
about
because
what?
if I say to somebody, I was going to share a banana with you, what were you going to give to me? After she laughs, then she says, honorable member, don't do that. That's playful talk for me. In other words, don't ask me that. Don't ask me what I was going to share in return. That was my understanding.
Okay, JP.
Then I'm also saying, in the context of this meme, this is a meme. This is what it is. And I respond by way of a meme. And then at 22:47, I then say something like, I don't understand now what is happening. Where I say 22:47, I'm not quite clear. And then at 22:48,
sorry, JP, what do you mean?
what I couldn't understand is when I say, when we talk about meeting physically, face to face, being suggested by her and not being intimate, and then me saying, look, I was going to share something nice, and then I ask her, where now, what would you then give me in 10? I understood it as being playful, because at 22:47, I then have this emoji where I try to say, hey, I don't understand now what it is. But what is important is at 22:48. Ufuna nje ubuhlobo. This is a pertinent question.
Can I stop you right there, JP? Let's not gloss over this. Let me ask you a difficult question, because you will be asked it. What do you say to members of the tribunal or somebody who's going to ask you this? Why is this discussion, why is it excised from the context of talking about being intimate? Why does it suddenly become about a fruit? Why does it become innocent? That question is a question I would like you to address.
Yes. I am saying, this is at page 1213, honorable panel members. Bendiza kupha le. I was going to share something nice with you in the context of what we were talking about. She laughs at that, and then I ask, you in turn, what would you then give me if we were to meet? Remember I said I could have shown a chocolate, I could have shown anything nice that one can share when they meet with somebody that they are fancying or mutually being flirtatious with one another. So she laughs at that.
Can I ask you, were you talking about nice in the context of intimacy or flirting?
Nice in the context of flirtation.
Thank you.
Simple flirtation. If you have seen a couple sharing a banana, the one is holding it, the one bites, he or she passes on this same object or this fruit to the other one, they too bite. That is flirtatious, I do concede.
Thank you.
Then I ask Wena, and then honorable member, don't do that, and then you. But then still I say,
What did you understand by honorable member, don't do that? What did you understand that to me?
this is a joke that is traversing the whole of the country based on what happens in parliament from time to time. And in jocular fashion, you will hear people say this, honorable member, in the context of parliament. We know we are not members of parliament. At this point in time, I'm not an honorable member as being a member of parliament, and therefore, this is not literal, it's figurative, the way I see it.
Thank you, JP. You may proceed.
So in any event, I simply say, please tell me now, ufuna nje ubuhlobo? Do you want us to be mere friends?
The direct translation of that line, ufuna nje ubuhlobo, do you just want friendship?
We rush to page 1215. I insist on an answer, and she says, azikho impendulo. I don't have an answer. When I say, oh, do you just want mere friendship? The answer at page 1215, at 2251, azikho impendulo. I don't have answers.
I don't have answers, or there are no answers.
So I don't think the mic is picking you up.
It's at this point that it also is said you were being rebuffed.
When somebody says, I don't have an answer to that pertinent question,
Yeah, the expert even said, how many times must a person try to avoid? And you keep persisting.
we must remember that the question I was posing is quite important. So we have reached this point, we've spoken about sensual things, positions when we sleep and all that. And I get to this point where I seek verification. I may be wrong, I just want to establish, is this flirtatious relationship to be mere friendship? In other words, I'm testing the room now. So,
Thank you, JP.
so the answer is azikho impendulo. I don't have an answer to that. It's not a rebuff. That is the first thing. The second thing that I wish to comment on is that when somebody says, in my view, andinampendulo, I was being led on, because subsequent to that at 2252, she says, I am a person of action, not words. Ndinezenzo kuphela.
Direct translation of ndinezenzo kuphela, I only have actions.
JP, can I take you back a bit so that you're not accused of glossing over certain things?
Thank you.
Can we go back to 12? We are at 1215.
Yes.
Right at the top, at the message of 2248.
Yes.
Could you please deal with that so that
Thank you.
1215?
1215.
It's the very first message. I'm just trying to make sure that you're not accused of glossing over things.
121. Okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. It is me. It is me. This is my message to her, which I would have sent around 2248.
And
But
can I ask you? It does have some fruit. And do you?
I don't
What is
join
the
issue. I don't
significance?
join issue with
Okay.
that. Let me explain myself.
Yes.
At 1214, ufuna nje ubuhlobo.
Yes.
This is me asking. Now that, okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. Indeed, those emojis are sensual from my perspective.
Okay. That's how you interpret it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
JP. You may go back.
I don't run away from
You
that.
can move forward to.
And
where you were.
that is what I would have said.
Just a minute, JP. I'm not sure what comments, I'm not sure what comment you have about this.
Chairperson?
I'm not sure I follow what your comment is about this picture.
Which one?
Top of 1215 or bottom of 21214, if it is the same thing.
It is the same thing indeed, Chairperson.
Yes.
All right. So this is the complainant at the bottom sending a meme. We now don't know what the meme was about. It may have been somebody drinking water or whatever else. But clearly, there, she has repeated what I had said. It was me who had said, okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. So she is actually repeating what I had initially said, where I then say, well, we can meet and converse without necessarily going the intimate route. This is me talking. Now, if you see the 2 ticks at 2248, that is from the complainant. But she is actually, she has pasted what I had said. So my comment is very clear. Okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. That's me who was saying that. And then as a follow-up to that,
Can we just wait? I think the chairperson
Yeah.
is still waiting for this.
Yes, but I see, is this 2 pictures? Is it 2 fruits?
yes, signifying sensual intimacy.
These 2 fruits?
Yes. Those 2 fruits. Now, what I can testify to is when that, okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. I'm not sure where it is in relation to the conversations. It's probably the one at 2248.
JP, is there a particular reason why your banana is not put there? I'm saying, is there a
Because
particular
I
reason?
understood banana to mean banana in the literal sense.
Thank you.
And Council, when it comes to those 2 fruits,
Yes.
they signify being sensual, intimately deep, sexual intercourse. I've
Thank
got
you.
no misunderstanding about that. I don't beat about the bush. And it is in the context of a question. I'm saying, okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route.
Thank you.
That's
JP.
what I had said earlier on. And then as a follow-up to that,
Just a minute. So it is not an invitation.
come again?
It is not an invitation, or is it an invitation?
No, it's not an invitation. Actually, if I may contextualize it, she's the one who came up with this invitation for us to meet within the context of us having been flirting. And then I then say, can we then, sorry, let me go to it rather. Let me go to it. At 1208, I say when she talks about being in East London, after I've been complimented twice as being handsome, after she had said I make her shy, I'm asking, you reckon we can meet and be intimate at 1208? So she then says, no, let us not be intimate. Let's not meet and be intimate. Let's just meet face to face. I then say, well, what if we melt? I've already addressed the tribunal in relation to what if we melt. And then I've already addressed the tribunal in relation to what I understood hayi to mean. And I've decided not to be technical about it and say, for instance, in the vernacular language, when somebody says, when you ask them, uphilile na, are you well? Hayi siphilile. I don't want to be playing tricks when it comes to that. I'm not here to do that in any event. But what I know is when somebody says hayi, it does not necessarily mean hayi at all instances. But in this context, it was quite pertinent. Do we meet and have and become intimate with one another? The answer is no, masijongane. There it is at 2238 at page 1210. Sijongane, not ngazelana. Let's meet and just be physical with one another. It is in that context, what if we melt and so on and so forth, which I've already stated. Then this thing about sobila kwangoku.
Can you just do it slowly, JP,
All
again,
right.
that explanation?
All right. Let me go back, Chairperson.
No, don't go back, please.
Yeah. I was
Just
saying
pick it
as
up
you-
from where you are.
Yeah,
Where
JP,
I
all
was.
I'm saying as you proceed, I'm not saying go back, I'm just saying as you proceed, just take us times and where you are. Yeah.
All right.
May I just intervene here? I think you just said that may we meet and be physical with one another. I don't think that's what you meant.
Come again.
You just said we will meet and be physical with one another. I think that's not what you meant. Is that correct?
No. Let me repeat myself. So, I have said, you reckon kungancazelwana this week, you reckon we can be intimate this week. The pertinent answer to that is encapsulated at page 1210, 2238. Sijongane, not ngazelana. Let's not be intimate. Let's simply meet physically and let's meet face to face. As a sequel to that, I then say, what if we melt, which is not impossible? We know that led to something else, where when I found myself, she says, so ubila kwangoku kuse eli, within the context of one melting or not melting. But what is important now is where we are and where I was asked, 1215. Okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. This is me talking, Chairperson. We may meet and not converse, so we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. I own that. That is what I said. And when I look at it, it must have been deleted somewhere, but I suspect it may have been sent around 2248 at page 1214. Hence, I asked, ufuna nje ubuhlobo? Do you want just or mere friendship? The answer thereto is at page 1215, azikho impendulo. I don't have an answer. I am saying that is not a rebuff. It's actually a pertinent answer. Followed up by 2252, ndinezenzo kuphela. I do actions only. I don't talk about these things. Uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko. Do you merely do living things to shape themselves? Uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko.
Are we still?
Uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko. Do you just do, then we see later?
Thank you.
That is a sequel to 2252 when she says, ndinezenzo kuphela.
What did you understand that to mean?
I understood that to mean better act than talk. I choose to talk than act. I'm a man of action, or I'm a person of action than just talking.
Thank you.
Within the context, of course, of what we're talking about. Azikho impendulo, ndinezenzo nje kuphela. Then, uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko. This is me asking her at 2252. In no time thereafter, she says, finish, which means, indeed, ndiyenza qha kubonwe ngoko.
We're now page 1216.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
So there's a pertinent answer from her. When I ask, uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko, against the background that I've asked, oh man, then can we just be mere friends then, lest I misunderstood this whole flirtation? Then it goes back to uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko, and then her response is finish. Then I say at 22:52, hey, that's risky. It's risky. We can't just meet physically in circumstances where you say sawubona ngoko. Interpreter.
Sawubona ngoko, we will see then or later.
I am then saying at 22:52 at 1216, that is risky. And then I follow that up by saying, but if ucho masibone ngoko, but if you say, we will see then when we meet. In circumstances where I have previously said, well then, we can meet and not be intimate.
Thank you, JP.
So at 22:53, ufike laphi? 22:54, any privacy?
Meaning?
Ufike laphi, where would you be when you arrive?
Any privacy? 22:54, 22:54, or sawuncokolele ofisini? I don't know. Please let me know.
Can we?
Or sawuncokolela e-ofisini, will we then converse in an office or have our conversation in an office?
Thank you.
Then the response at 22:54 from her, fike laphi, where will we meet? My house. What appears at 1217 is a repetition of what we have already dealt with. Never this, dinezenzo kuphela, I'm a person of action, uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko, finish, risky, and so on and so forth. Up to my house, 22:54, and then over at 1218, any privacy? No. Then answer to my question, or sawuncokolele ofisini, it would be better if we meet in the office at some point. Then my house, P, where is your house? The answer at 22:55 is
Okay.
Cambridge.
It's uncontroversial.
My house, the question followed P, which stands for where?
Cambridge, closer to Vincent, where the offices are. 22:55. Then something is deleted. What if kuyanyibilikwa? I'm still asking this question. Hey, if we meet and you have said to me, we can meet face to face, whether we melt or not, we will see when we meet. I've already said it is risky if we do that. Then the response at 22:55, hayi uzawuzibamba.
Okay, could we get an interpreter for those
What
two?
if kuyanyibilikwa? What if we melt? That's the direct translation.
Yes.
And then later on, after the paragraph JP shared, hayi uzakuzibamba. No, you will hold yourself or you will contain yourself. That's the direct translation.
Yes, I think we had dealt with what melting means in this
Yes.
sensual talk. Yes, thank you.
Thank
May
you.
proceed.
Your previous interpretation was no, you will control yourself.
That is correct, Chair. Hence, I used both now,
Yeah.
control or hold yourself or contain. It's synonyms.
Chair, if I can just come in here, there was a lot of fast testimony here. There was a translation made that the question was Fikila Fi, I don't know how to
Fikela
pronounce it.
P.
Upon your arrival, where will you be? And when the JP now referred to the reply of the complainant, he translated it to say, where will we meet? That's not correct. Where will we be? And she said, my house. So there's a difference in where will you be and where will we meet.
1217, Chairperson. 1217.
I'm on
Maybe-
1216,
Maybe we
Chair.
can start at 1216. 1216, uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko, do you just do and see things when they shape themselves? Finish. Then I say at 2252, that is risky. But if ucho masibone ngoko, so if you say so, then we will see when we meet. Then I ask, ufike laphi? Where is your point of arrival? That is the literal meaning of fike laphi. Where is your point of arrival? Then I say any privacy or sawuncokolele ofisini. All that happens within seconds. It is repeated at 1217.
Chair, may I check if my learned friend is satisfied now? Thank you. You may proceed, JP.
So, fike laphi, is there any privacy or will we just converse in the office? Then the response to fike laphi is at 2254, my house. Ufike laphi, where is your point of arrival? My house, that's what she says. And then below that, I had asked any privacy. I had asked that at 2254. She says, no, there's no privacy.
JP, can I direct you? I think she's understood you now. You can go back, you can go to 1218,
Thank
where
you.
you were already at
So-
time 2255, I think.
Thank you. 2254, sawuncokolele office. We will converse in the office. Then her answer is, it's better that way. And then there's Cambridge, closer to Vincent and so on. Some of these conversations simply cross one another. Some appear at a time when they've already been overtaken by some answers.
Yes, JP.
That's all I wanted to explain. But we were at 2255. Hayi uzawuzibamba, you'll restrain yourself, or you, what did you say, Miss Interpreter?
You will control yourself. And I used a couple of other more synonyms that means exactly the same. You'll control yourself. You will hold yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Then I asked Wena, she says, ndiyakwazi, I am capable of restraining myself or holding myself. Then I had said, which I deleted probably at 2256, I am a touch is a move and move is a bullet. When she then, there's a meme there of somebody peeping. Then at 2257, that is the conclusion of the matter. The conclusion of a matter is better than the beginning thereof. This is the conclusion of the matter. Ndiyakwazi, in other words, she says, I can restrain myself. At 2257, I then say, okay, ke. And then I say at 2257, let me oblige. So there's been a discussion. I'm in East London. It's an invitation for us to meet. I say, can we be intimate? The answer is no. I ask, do you want mere friendship? And kwazi, and this upendul. I'm not going to repeat what has happened, Chairperson. It may sound like a broken LP. But the conclusion of the matter is, let me oblige. This is me talking, 2257. This concludes the East London invite from the complainant. There's no persistence beyond this point about East London. SC, if we're talking about persistence, a notion that you referred to, the context here is simply, we meet, do we go the intimate route? No, we don't go the intimate route. Hey, let's be careful if we do meet, and because physically we may lose control over that, I will restrain myself, let me oblige. That's the conclusion of the matter. So we are at page 1219. Then she says, let me iron my uniform at 2257. That having been said, Chairperson, if we go to page 18 of the complaint, where she says he sent me a video of a man and a woman lying on her back with a man on top. That's paragraph 15. The point I wanted to highlight actually is page 18, paragraph 15, is the fact that she says, if we read at paragraph 15, you will see that what is stated at paragraph 15 loses the context of what we were doing, this exercise that we were going through. If I were to read here, I will find that they are mutually almost destructive in the sense that, let me read. She says, the second paragraph of 15, honorable members, page 18, paragraph 15 has got more than 2 paragraphs. She says, on the same day, I sent a text that I'm around East London, if we can meet and talk. He asked me if it would be impossible for us to get intimate. I responded by referring to him to a Bible verse. At this stage, I thought I was brave enough to tell him exactly how I feel about this inappropriate text. We continued talking. What if we melt? I responded by saying it is impossible. He sent me an emoji of a half-peeled banana. In reply, I then sent an image with words, honorable member, don't do that. Then, okay, we may meet and just converse without going to the intimate route, to which he deleted K3. He asked me if I only wanted to be friends with him. I did not respond. I'm saying she did respond. So the second last paragraph at page 18, where she says, when she is creating this complaint, when she is formulating rather the complaint, she keeps on saying, she said this, he said this, I did not respond. He said this, I did not respond. But when we read from volume 3, we see that there were responses. Let's test this one. What if we become friends? She says, I did not respond. And I'm saying, she said, azikho. Let me go back a bit. Azikho impendulo, laughing. It's not a question of her not having responded. She did respond by saying, I don't have an answer to that. And then followed up by, ndinezenzo kuphela. I'm a lady of action. So this thing about her saying I did not respond is not correct. That's the point I'm making, Chairperson. Sorry to belabor the point, SC. So we were at 1219. Let me oblige, let me iron my uniform. And then 1220. 1220.
Just a minute.
Page 1220 of volume 3, Chairperson. Page 1220, 1220 of volume 3. Thank you. So page 1220 up to 1221 and probably until 1222 ends with at 2315 ulale kamnandi uphuphe from the complainant, and then there's please reciprocate and so on and so forth. This is yet another important part of this interaction. So the starting point then is 20 June. Let me iron my uniform. And then she says goodbye at 22:58. At 22:58, she says goodbye. Then 22:59, something is deleted from my side. Her response is Jesu. And then at 23 hours, I guess one and the same thing was deleted. And then, yours, please. And then, when she said, to her comment, Jesu, why put it this way? It looks delicious. Why do you say Jesu? And then there's okeke uzazibamba in relation to what was being discussed previously. If it must just be a friendly chat, I'll oblige. So what is being resuscitated by her here, the way I see it, at 23:05, if I see things properly, she is still resuscitating what was discussed, or sawuncokolele officing. Then she says, if it must be a friendly chat, I'll oblige. Then there's ironing at 23:05. Then you said so. Let me see, please, and so on and so forth. Let me now turn to deal with this. Naturally, we've got to start off by reading the complaint itself.
Chairperson,
Yes.
or JP, can I ask for a comfort break and see whether we can curtail? I want to go to those things that probably are not are controversial and disputed rather than page by page. Can I get a 10-minute comfort break so that I try and find a way of curtailing what's common cause?
Yeah, let me just,
But with
Yeah,
your
something-
leave, of course. I mean,
something
I may think things
minor.
are.
so we're stopping at
We're at 122,
1220.
1220.
Something that is, in my view, controversial in the sense that something is said
We
about
will
me.
get there. We'll get there, JP. We'll get there. I
So
just want us to.
You want us to come back what time?
20 past, 25 past, yes.
Can I just find out something? If you stop now, would lunch be ready? She's not here. All right. Anyway, you say until 20 past.
25.
25.
Yes.
We adjourn, come back 25 past 12.